Live stream. Okay, going live. Okay. Any introduction, Yashodhari?
I'll do it after your,
Ah,
I'll do it after your Kirtan Maharaj.
okay, so just gonna sing a bhajan without kartals or mridanga because the sound gets a bit convoluted through the airwaves. We'll sing Krishna De Bhavavan Tamavande, just for a change. Krishna De Bhavavan Tamavande, Krishna De Bhavavan
Vande
Mahana Samadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankaja Makarande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Yadi api samadhishu vidya api pashyati Natava nakagramarichi Yadyapi samadhishu vidya api pashyati natava nakagramarichin idame chami nishyamya tava chuta tarapi kripa bhuta vichin idame chami nishyamya tava chuta tarapi kripa bhuta vichin O Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Bhakti Udan Jati Yari Api Madhava Natvai Mama Tila Matri Bhakti Udan Jati Yari Api Madhava Natvai Mama Tila Matri Parameshwara Tadabhita Vadika Durgata Gata Navirpatri Parameshwara Tadabhita Vadika Durgata Navirpatri O Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Nayamavilo Yatayari Yatsanatana Kalita Bhutara Sabaram Ayamavilo Yatayari Yatsanatana Kalita Bhutara Sabaram Nivasatu Nityameham Rita Nindini Vidan Madhurim Saram Nivasatu Nityameham Rita Nindini Vidan Madhurim Saram Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Mana Mahana Samadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankaja Makarande Mana Samadhukaram Arpaya Nija Pada Pankaja Makarande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande O Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He O Krishna He
Krishna
He Krishna He Krishna He Prabhu He Prabhu He Prabhu He Prabhu He Prabhu
Prabhu
He
He
Prabhu
Prabhu
He
He Prabhu He
Prabhu He
He.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's more than enough, Maharaj. Thank you so much. You rock. Actually, you've got a really good voice.
I was
Should
going to
be
say
getting you.
Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite, but we're following the time. So what is the time?
It's in India or
No.
in
What time
in
on
England?
the stream? Are we
Oh,
starting in 10 minutes or are we starting now?
we're starting now. We're
Oh,
starting.
our guitar.
Yeah. Well, we've got another 10 minutes, but that's fine. We can start early, Maharaj. That's not a problem.
I have a question.
Yes,
I
Maharaj.
have a question. It says user for
You want me
me.
to change it? Hold on, I'll change it for you.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a name. That's kind of a,
That's what you had yesterday, isn't it?
Nice title, you know.
You're a
user.
user, Maharaj. Maharaj.
Yeah, I'm a user. A user and abuser. That's
I'm the loser. Okay.
Because March, do you want to do Chaitwani and then we'll start?
Yes, why can't Maharaj?
Jai Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Girid Hari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Shri Shri Radha Damodar Shri Shri Radha Raman Shri Shri Madan-Mohan Shri Shri Radha Govinda Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Jai Nitya Leela Pavishta Om Vishnu Padasta Tatsat Sri Srimad Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Jai Nitya Leela Pavishta Om Vishnu Padasta Tatsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pavishta Om Vishnu Padasta Tatsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Leela Pavishta Om Vishnu Padasta Tatsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Mahabhagavad Srila Gaur Kishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Sachitananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Gauri Vedanta Charja Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai Shri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rup, Shri Sanatana, Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal, Bhatta Das Raghunath, Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar, Roy Ramananda, Adi Gaura, Parsha Binda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Zakaho, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Binda Ki Jai, Shri Navritam Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shamakunda, Radha Kunda Jamuna Ganga Tulasi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhananandini Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai Shrimati Lalita Shrimati Vishaka Aryasta Sakti Vinda Ki Jai Shri Rupa Manjari Shri Rati Manjari Ari Manjari Vinda Ki Jai Shrimati Purnamasi Devi Ki Jai, Shrimati Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Gopisar Mahadev Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Sudarshan Chakrajuk Ki Jai, Bhakta Vigdaminat Sri Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai, Bhaktaraj Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Bhuvana Mangala Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Brihat Pradanga Ki Jai, Shri Ujvat Ki Jai, Shri Vajmando Parikram Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Bo.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Okay.
Thank you both, Chirandi Maharaj and Mekanis Maharaj, for doing Kirtan and Jaitwani. Let's start, I suppose, the program. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shishima Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Radha Govinda Priyatmane Shishima Shila Bhakti Jivanacharya Namine Vancha Kalpatarobhisha Kripa Sindhu Bevicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. First of all, I'd like to offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my Guru Padma Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotra Satta Sheshima Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And at the same time, Nitya Pravisht Om Vishnupada Stotra Satta Sheshima Shila Bhakti Jivanacharya Goswami Maharaj. And the entire Rupanuga Guru Varga. The Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and headed by both Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikanis Maharaj and Sripad Bhaktivedanta Chudandi Maharaj, who are leading our parikrama virtually today and going forward. We're really excited that we're on day 2 of our parikrama. Today we officially go on parikrama to the places in Vrindavan Dham. So between Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikanas Maharaj, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj, and Srimad Vipin Bihari Prabhu. They will take us all through the different locations of Vrindavan. The first part, at least, tomorrow is another part in Vrindavan. And then allow us to pray and offer our obeisances to the Goswamis and the temples that are prominent within Vrindavan. So without further ado, Tridani Maharaj and Vikanas Maharaj, I don't know how we want to do this, but if someone wants to start, and then we can figure out the rest. Haribol.
Dandavat Shishodari. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Well done, well done, well done. Thank you, Maharaj, for being there today. Excellent.
Thank you for having me.
Hey.
Thank you. No one else.
It's Shishodari who's inviting everybody. She's the one organizing everything. It's very good. Okay, so today, Gurave Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tada Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Guru and Gauranga Ki Jai. Navadvip Parikrama 2025 Ki Jai. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Vrindavan Parikram Ki Jai. Vrindavan Parikram Ki Jai. Shuddha Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhakti Vedanta, Sripad Bhakti Vedanta, Shuddha Maharaj Ki Jai is also next to me. So maybe he'll drop in for a few minutes. We'll see.
And we get to see his face.
Yes, just come here for a second. Can you see him? There he is. There he is.
There he is. Haribol.
Haribol, Srila
Oh.
Maharaj Ki Jai. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Haribol, Haribol.
Okay. Okay, so today we just go a short distance from Gopinath Bhavan, or Gopinath Gaudiya Math, Gopinath Bhavan, we call it. So we'll just walk along the banks of the Jamuna, perhaps a mile, something, and we come to the famous place of Kaliya-daha, the lake of Kaliya. So there's a very, very beautiful, wonderful pastime that we're going to describe here. So one day when Krishna was going cow grazing, his elder brother Balaram came and told him, "Today, my dear Krishna, I can't come with you. Today is my birthday. Mother Rohini is telling me I have to remain at home, and they're going to perform the ceremonies, etc., for my birthday. And you go anywhere you want in Braj, no problem." Dalbai, he's always the elder brother. He's always looking after Krishna. He has that feeling of protecting Krishna, even though he knows the supremacy of his little brother, but still he feels a protective mood. So he cautions him very seriously. He says, wherever you go, don't go to Kaliya-daha. 100% don't go there. Only go there when I'm with you. That Kaliya-naga is much, much too dangerous. So don't go there. So Krishna doesn't actually say anything. He just smiles, his beautiful smile with his beautiful teeth. And Baladev is mesmerized by his smile. And then Krishna gets out into the forest. And the first place they go, they take a beeline to Kaliya-daha. This is Krishna's nature. Is always, going the opposite way to the authorities, it seems. Mother Yashoda, in all cases. So the cowherd boys, they all run ahead. It's a hot day, and the cows are thirsty, the calves are thirsty. Now Krishna's taking the cows. We've passed the Brahma Vimohan Leela. That's about 2 chapters behind, and 14, 15 chapter. And this is the 16th chapter. Now Krishna is in his Pauganda age. We've also passed the Agasura demon. So Krishna now has come from his Balya age and he's in Pauganda. So his body has changed with his Pauganda age. His waist has become more narrow, his chest has become more broad, his feet have become bigger, and he's approaching teenager, we would say, the Kishore age. So a hot day with the cows today, and they all go ahead of Krishna. Krishna's going behind, and he's observing the beauty of the Vrindavan forest, which is generally his pastime. He's giving mercy to the trees, to the creepers, to the plants, to the insects even, to the birds, to the deer. All the different creatures all want his darshan. And he's completely in tune with the whole of Braj. It's a whole powerful atmosphere that Krishna is spreading around as he walks. So he's not walking in a hurry, he's walking slowly. Cowherd boys, they all run ahead. And because it's such a hot day, they all come to the Kaliya-daha lake. And Kaliya-naga has been residing in this lake for many yugas. It's actually described 90 yugas. 90 cycles have gone by. This lake, we should understand, is dynamic. It's very important. It's a side flow from the Jamuna proper. You have the Jamuna proper coming through, and in Australia, we call them billabongs. It's like a side stream, but it's come into a lake, and it's about 8 miles long. It's a huge lake and very deep, but it's not really polluting the rest of the Jamuna excessively. But all around this lake, it's so polluted by Kaliya and his poisoned fire coming out of his mouth and his nostrils. And it's described that all around this lake, there's not a single living tree or creeper or blade of grass. It's all being poisoned except one. There's one kadamba tree, an ancient kadamba tree that is surviving simply because one day Garuda, he was carrying a pot of nectar, and a drop of that nectar came on that kadamba tree. It's a very large tree overlooking the lake. And the cowherd boys, they run ahead, and as soon as they come to the waters, because they're all thirsty, they all drink the waters. Then they all immediately die. They physically die. And the cows, they don't actually drink the water. They can smell and sense that the water is poisoned, and they don't drink it. But the cowherd boys, they all die. And then Krishna comes up behind them and sees all his dear Priyasakas dead from the poison of Kaliya. And Krishna at this time, Jiva Goswami describes in his Gopal Champu, he goes literally from boy to boy to boy and embraces each boy for a long time and revives them. The boys, they come back to consciousness in a completely blissful state. They wondered what had happened, but all they're aware of is the immense embrace of Krishna. Krishna embraces all of them. So this relationship between Krishna and the cowherd boys is, it's not as extreme, we can say, as the gopis, but still it's really, really special, really special. The cowherd boys in particular, they're just so much aware of how much Krishna loves them, and they are reciprocating with that love. And when the boys have been revived, then Krishna decides now it's time to chastise this Kaliya-naga. So he gives a beautiful smile to the cowherd boys to reassure them that everything is going to be all right. And then he climbs this one living tree, this kadamba tree that is still there today. When we go to Kaliya-kriya, when we're there today, we see that same tree is still there, very ancient tree. So Krishna climbs that tree, and like a wrestler, he starts to slap his arms. He ties his head back. He's going to have a fight. He's getting ready for it, ties his belt. He arranges his turban tightly, puts his turban on his head tightly. And then he does a most beautiful dive into the lake. It's described like a kingfisher. Have you ever seen the kingfishers when they go in for their prey? It's like boom, very practically no splash on the outside. Although when Krishna goes in, because he's carrying the entire Brahmand in his abdomen. So the weight of that, when he lands in the lake, just throws up these huge waves. And the cowherd boys and the cows, they have to run very quickly away from these poison waters that are coming to flood them. So they run back. Many bow lengths, describe 600 bow lengths, they have to run back. But Krishna, when he dives in, he dives right down into that lake. And it's described by Kavi Kanpur that he goes down practically as far as Patala Loka in the netherworld. He goes deep, deep, deep into the lake. And the whole time he's going, he's creating a whole turbulence on the way. And then he comes back up to the surface, and then he begins sporting on the surface. And he begins splashing the water and making beautiful sounds by slapping it in different ways. And immediately the devas, because they're all watching behind the clouds, they immediately start clapping and they bring out their instruments and they start to accompany Krishna, making this beautiful song on the waves of this lake. And meanwhile, Kaliya, he becomes incensed with anger. He's already by nature angry. He's a wretched serpent, and he becomes intolerable. Who has dared to come in, trespass in my lake? Kali has been living here for 90 yugas. That's a long time. It's enough time to put down a lot of attachments. So he's definitely thinking this is my lake. And then he rises out of the lake. He has 1,000 hoods. Try to imagine the enormity of this serpent. He is huge serpent. He has 101 prominent heads, but he has 1,000 hoods, and he's just massive. It's an 8-mile size lake. So we can imagine Kaliya, he's taking up like a fair portion of that lake. And he comes out and he sees the beauty of Krishna. He sees his beautiful complexion. He sees his beautiful shining gold dhoti. He sees his beautiful radiant smile. He sees his beautiful lotus eyes. He sees his curly hair coming out of his turban. And for a single moment, he's enchanted. But then his demoniac mentality just covers his good consciousness. And he lunges forward with all his strength and he bites Krishna on the chest. And then he immediately encoils him in his coils. And Krishna is just submissive to the pastime here. And he allows Kaliya to imagine that he's actually captured Krishna. And Krishna lies just very still within the coils of Kaliya. And when the cowherd boys, they see this, this is their life and soul Krishna. They're so shocked. They all just lose consciousness again. But they don't die. They just lose consciousness this time. And the cows, their eyes are just fixed on Krishna with such love and anxiety for Krishna's welfare. And meanwhile, the devas, who of course know well about Kaliya because he's such a ferocious demon, become very afraid. The devas are all Brahman realized. They're not bhaktas. It's described, I've said many times, Brihaspati, the spiritual master, is described as being Brahman realized. So therefore, all the devas are also aiming in that direction. So when Vishnu advents amongst them, they just think he's a great, 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 great personality. But they don't think he's the supreme personality. They think there's something beyond there. So the Devas, they become concerned because they don't appreciate the full potency and power of Krishna. So then they feel we've got to bring the Brijabasis here. The Brijabasis, they have to witness this pastime. So they create 3 types of inauspicious omens because they know the hearts of the Brijabasis. The Brijabasis, their life and soul is Krishna, nothing else except Krishna. They live for Krishna. They know he's not God, but their affection and attraction for him is just overwhelming. So the Devas, they manifest, it's described as earthquakes, and they manifest falling meteorites in the sky, and they manifest the shivering on the left side of men and on the right side of women, which are very inauspicious in both of those circumstances. So the Brijabasis, at this time, they were just sitting down to honor Baladev's appearance day. And they had made a huge arrangement of preparations. And it was all piping hot. And they were just about to take it. They were just putting all the plates out, etc. And then these inauspicious omens happen. And they immediately think of Krishna. And they immediately realize that Daubaya, Baladev, he didn't go with Krishna today. So Krishna, maybe he's got himself in some type of trouble. And Baladev, he starts to smile. Because Baladev now, he knows his little brother. And he starts to smile to reassure the Brijabasis not to become too panicked. But then the Brijabasis, they have to go to wherever Krishna is. So all of them is described, the entire village, from the very smallest children to the oldest man, they all begin to follow the trail of the cows. Millions of cows went out with Krishna this morning. But the Brijabasis, because of their love, they're able to see Krishna's splendid footprints between all the hoof prints of the cows. Because of their praying, because of their love, they see the balicorn, the moon, the flag, the chunk, the lotus.
Elephant frog.
Yes, the elephant goes. They see all of these most beautiful symbols of Krishna's feet, and they follow the tracks, and they come to the Jamuna, and they see Krishna in the coils of Kaliya. The Brijabasis have never seen Krishna fighting a demon yet. They've never seen him. The cowherd boys, they saw Bakasura, they saw Agasura, they saw Vatsasura. But the Brijabasis have never seen. Putana, she comes in disguise as a beautiful maiden. They didn't see her demon form until she was actually killed. But now the Brijabasis, for the first time, they're seeing Krishna caught by this huge demon. And their hearts are about to leave their throats immediately. They know nothing else except Krishna. And Mother Yashoda immediately wants to enter the waters. But the elder gopis, they restrain her. And then Nanda Baba and the older gopas, they want to enter the waters. But then Baladev, he spreads his arms with a beautiful oceanic smile on his face, reassuring them that the prowess of his younger brother will easily defeat this little serpent. And Baladev is thinking, he doesn't come and give me pastimes as an Antashesh. Why is he playing with this serpent here? So Baladev is kind of chuckling, but he knows the power of his brother. So Krishna, he's lying in these coils for 48, one prahara. 48 minutes he's lying there. And then he realizes that the Brijabasis, after Baladev has reassured them, he realizes they're practically ready to leave their bodies. These pastimes are all arranged by Yogamaya to bring out the intensity of the affection between the Brijabasis and Krishna. When they think Krishna is about to die, just like in the Dambanda Leela, when the 2 huge trees fell down, and they're so shocked, thinking that Krishna could have been crushed by these trees, then their whole protective mood and their affection for Krishna just increases like anything. But when Krishna realizes that they're about to leave, the gopis are there, they're watching. Their minds have just become completely void. They can't compute what's happening for them, because already some romantic exchanges with their eyes have taken place. Already some purva has been ignited in their hearts. And they're seeing Krishna as their great lover in the future. This is what they have in their hearts fully. And they see this situation and they're shocked. All are, it's so extreme. Yeah, the gopis are crying.
Sleeping in the mud.
Slipping in the mud. But it's such an intense situation. And this is what Krishna wants to build, the drama. Because what's about to take place is so dramatic, like it's never been taken place before. So this intensity is increasing. When it's at its pitch, then Krishna decides enough. And then he begins to expand his body. And Kaliya is feeling the pain of Krishna's expanding his body. And then Krishna quickly jumps out. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary describes that during the time when Krishna was captured by Kaliya, he moved to a small sandbank, like an island, like in the middle of the lake. And Krishna jumps down onto that island and begins circling around Kaliya. Kaliya is trying to capture him. He's trying to bite him. But Krishna, like when he defeated Kuvalyapida, the elephant, just circulating, running around him. And Kaliya becomes exhausted by trying to catch him. He can't catch him. Krishna is so fast. And eventually, Kaliya starts to become exhausted from trying to catch Krishna. He can't catch Krishna. So then Krishna, he pushes down on one of Kaliya's very broad hoods and jumps up on it. Kaliya has these beautiful jewels, rubies, red jewels on all his prominent heads. And Krishna, he jumps down on, pushes down the hood. And then, to the amazement of everyone, he takes out his flute and he begins to dance on the hood of Kaliya. And everyone is just like shocked at the dance that he's doing now. But each time he puts his foot on Kaliya's head with the weight of the whole universe in his abdomen, he smashes it so hard. So Kaliya is feeling these kicks. And then he begins dancing from hood to hood. I said before, Kaliya has 101 prominent hoods. And Krishna starts to move very quickly across all these hoods. And each one he lands on, he thumps it with his foot so heavily. And Kaliya, who's very, very strong, Kaliya can take quite a lot. You know, it takes quite a bit to actually push him down. But still, the weight of Krishna's feet smashing on. And immediately, of course, as soon as Krishna is called Natavara. Shivji is called Nataraj. Shivji is the king of dance. Krishna is Natavara. He's the master of dance. So when Krishna starts to dance, because immediately the siddhas and the charanas and the vidyaharas, they come with their instruments and they begin playing, keeping up the rhythm with Krishna's dancing. They're just so much entranced by his dancing. But then Krishna starts to move faster and faster and faster. And the devas are trying to keep up with his rhythms because he's jumping on all these hoods at the same time, these huge hoods. And in the end, the devas can't keep up with his moving and they just begin to clap. Their instruments, they can't keep the rhythm going with their instruments, so they just end up by clapping. But they're all just amazed at the beauty of this dance. And of course, the gopis, who Krishna's certainly got his eye on while he's dancing. This is a heroic act. So how can you be a hero unless you're fully admired? So he knows who is the most admiring souls. It's the gopis. They are admiring the most. The cowherd boys also, but the gopis particularly. So Krishna, he's glancing at them every now and again as he's dancing. And Krishna is sending a signal to them. One day soon, we will dance like this together. You see how I'm dancing so expertly like this? One day we will all dance together. And he's riding across the heads of this serpent. These heads are quite broad because actually this pastime is described by Sanatana Gosvami. And Sanatana Gosvami gives a completely other, an alternative picture. He says that at this time when Kaliya starts to be defeated, Krishna pulls Radharani and he pulls some of the other gopis, the Asasaki gopis, onto the hoods also. And they're all dancing on top of the hoods. So it's like a mini Ras Leela is taking place. And the Brijvasis, they are just entranced. They think this is the most beautiful thing they've ever seen in their existence. And it is the most beautiful thing. And then eventually, though, with the weight of Krishna's feet, Kaliya starts to be defeated. And then he starts to actually begin to give up his life even. He's been kicked to death by the Supreme Lord. And he starts to vomit blood. And he's vomiting fire. And his eyes start to water. And so much mucus and mush is coming out of his eyes. And he's starting to think, I battled with Garuda, who's the carrier of Vishnu. This must be Vishnu. There's no one bigger in Kaliya's life than Garuda is his brother. They have the same father, Kashyapa Muni. And Garuda's mother is Kadru. And Garuda's mother is Vinati. And Kaliya's mother is Kadru. These are two of Kashyapa's wives. So they're actually brothers from the same father, but they have a great enmity, which is described later on, with the reason why Kaliya is in this lake to begin with. So when Kaliya starts to lose his life and is vomiting and so on, the Nagapatnis, they realize we're about to lose our, they can see, they're looking so intently at, they know their husband, and they see their husband is actually surrendered. Their husband is ready to give up his life. He can't fight anymore. His aggression has gone down. He's surrendering. And they have their children in front of them, and they all come with the most beautiful prayers to glorify the Lord. The Nagapatnis are great, great devotees of Brajendrananda and Shamsundar. They're devotees of Krishna, and they come offering beautiful prayers, begging Krishna to please relieve their husband, give him some relief, let him live. Even though he's such a cruel, brutal, torturous, envious, sinful wretch, but please, he is our husband. And without our husband's protection, we will be bereft. We all have children, so they come. 23 verses, very beautifully spoken. One time in Bhajan, my Gurudev, he had been translating this part, commenting on this part of the Bhagavatam. And he was telling us the nature of these very, very beautiful prayers of the Nagapatnis. And my Gurudev's heart was melting in a mood of appreciation of the bhakti that the Nagapatnis presented their prayers in. Very heartfelt moods of pitiful beseeching Krishna to be compassionate to Kaliya. And Krishna, he hears their prayers and he stops kicking Kaliya. Kaliya's practically collapsed at this point. And then Krishna, he tells the Nagapatnis, yes, now only due to your prayers, I have agreed to forgive Kaliya for his wretched aparad towards Garuda, committed aparad towards Garuda twice. Garuda would come to this same lake and take the fish. And Subari Rishi was meditating at the time under the water, and
I guess he's in ecstasy. He's stunned. Stumba.
There he is.
he he curses Garuda that if he comes back into this lake again and takes any more of the fish, he'll have to leave his body. So Garuda has respected that, because previously at Ramanaka, the island where Kaliya was staying before, Garuda was harassing the snakes there. Snakes are the food for big birds. And they had made an arrangement with Kaliya that they would make him an offering regularly once a month. But Kaliya, because he was such a deviant demon, was eating those offerings. And Garuda found out and came and attacked Kaliya. So Kaliya took shelter in this lake, knowing that Subari Rishi had made this curse. So Kaliya was contributing to the aparad that Subari Rishi had committed towards Garuda. So when the Nagapatnis, they come after Krishna climbs down from the hoods of Kaliya, then they are offering many creams and beautiful unguents to Krishna to pacify him. And they offer many treasures and jewels. And Krishna, he accepts that. And it's described also that while this battle was going on, or while Krishna was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, his Kastuba mani fell off into the waters. And the Nagapatnis, they found that again, they retrieved that. And again, it was presented to Krishna at that time. So now Krishna has been decorated by the Nagapatnis very beautifully. These beautiful creams and ointments and so on have been placed on his body, and beautiful garlands, etc. And then Krishna, he orders. Kaliya is completely smashed. He can't even raise his head. He wants to offer some prayers to Krishna, but he's so beaten by Krishna. And then Krishna, mercifully, he touches him with his hand. And then Kaliya, he regains his energy and accepts Krishna as that Supreme Lord and offers prayers of forgiveness and prayers in a mood of Sharanagat, of submission to Krishna. And then Krishna, he orders Kaliya, now you take your wives and children and you go from this lake immediately. You go back to Ramanaka. And Garuda will never attack you again, because he'll see the footmarks of me on your hoods, and he will never attack you again. So Kaliya and his whole retinue, his whole family, his whole community, they leave that lake and they go back to Ramanaka, which is near Fiji. It's in the Pacific Ocean near Fiji. So he goes there. And immediately Krishna, by his potency, makes that lake in the Jamuna completely crystalline and pure again. The water's absolutely pure. And then he comes out onto the sandbank, and all the Brijvasis, they are so much overwhelmed in affection and attraction to Krishna. Mother Yashoda, she rushes forward and grabs her Lala and hugs him, and tears are pouring from her, milk is pouring from her breasts, and she's embracing him for a long time. And all the other elderly gopis, they also are embracing Krishna. And normally Nanda Baba, he wouldn't mix with all the gopis in that circumstance. But now, because he's also so overwhelmed with his Vatsalya Prem, he pushes aside the elder gopis and he comes through to Krishna, and he takes him on his lap, he smells his head. And even Baladev, he comes through and he sits Krishna on his lap also. And he's smiling so broadly. And it's such a beautiful reunion. And all the sakhas come. The gopis are standing at some distance, but they're shooting their glances towards Krishna, and Krishna's reciprocating with these glances. And then there's this beautiful, beautiful reunion. This is the whole purpose of this pastime, is to intensify the attraction between the Vatsalya Prem of Mother Yashoda and the Vatsalya Prem even of the cows and the calves. They also have that mood. And the Prem of the sakhas and the Sakhis themselves. And then Nanda Baba, on the inspiration of Yogamaya, declares that, well, now it's become late. And this bank of the Jamuna is so beautiful now with its fresh crystalline waters. And it's become late. We'll spend the night here. we won't go back to our village because it was a bit of a walk that they had to get there. So they spend the night there. And the gopis are overjoyed because when they're out of their homes, they get more opportunity to associate with Krishna. So this is a very significant time for the gopis, because actually at this time, I was saying yesterday, that at this time, after Krishna has pacified all the gopas and the sakas, etc., and everyone settles down to take some rest, some sleep, then Krishna, with his glances, he's consorting with the gopis, and he's spending some time with the gopis, and he's making it apparent to all the gopis at that particular time that he's more attracted to Sri Radhika than any of the others. They all realize this because the next day, I explained this yesterday, Chandravali and Saiba, they're trying to make some plan to catch Krishna before he gets in the grips of Radhika's embrace. So, and this, everyone eventually goes to sleep and rests. And then there's a forest fire that comes late in the night, which was set by the servants of Kamsa when he realizes that Kaliya has been tamed by Krishna. Then Kaliya's servants, they come and they arrange for a forest fire to completely encircle all of them. And at that time, again, the Brijbasis, they all take shelter of Krishna. They cry out to Krishna, and Krishna pacifies them all. And Krishna, he just extinguishes that forest. That's a huge blazing fire on all sides of them. They're completely captured. They're hearing the trees crackling and all the leaves burning. Everything is a ferocious fire. But then it's all completely subdued by Krishna. And then they spend the rest of that night after the fire has gone out, and then they return to the village. And just one last detail about this pastime is when they return to the village, that feast that Baladev was about to take has contained its heat. It's all still fresh and completely hot. And all the Brijbasis, they all sit down to honor that feast of Baladev's for his appearance day. So this is the pastime of Kaliya that we hear at Kaliya Hridan. There's more, there's the history, etc., but we're on parikrama now, so generally our speaking time is restricted. But also at this particular place is the bhajana-kutira and samadhi, the pushpa samadhi of Prabhodananda Sarasvati. So Prabhodananda Sarasvati is right here also. And when we come in to take darshan of this lake, we actually circumambulate Prabhodananda Sarasvati. So Prabhodananda Sarasvati in Krishna Lila is Tunga Vidya. And Prabhodananda Sarasvati is the brother of Venkata Bhatta, who is the father of Gopal Bhatta in Sri Rangam. Mahaprabhu, he stays there for the rainy season, the Chaturmasya season, for 4 months. And he engages in conversations with Venkata Bhatta. Finally, he's convincing Venkata Bhatta to consider the pastimes of Vrindavan as superior. He asks Venkata Bhatta, but why does your Lakshmi Dev want to come to take part in the pastimes in Braj? If she's that supreme person, why is she attracted to Brajendranandan and Shyam Sundar? And Venkata Bhatta, he begins to consider this. But Prabhodananda Sarasvati, he's there at the same time. And this is the uncle of Gopal Bhatta. And this is the guru also of Gopal Bhatta. Prabhodananda Sarasvati is the guru of Gopal Bhatta. We say this mantra, Bhaktiya Vinasams Chitunoti Prabodha Nandasya, can't remember it all. But there's a beautiful mantra, Gopal Bhatta Raghunath Das Shantotasya Rupa Sanatana So. This is his mantra, Gopal Bhatta's mantra, declaring that Prabhodananda Saraswati is his guru. But one interesting point that Krishnadas Kaviraj, he doesn't mention Prabhodananda Saraswati in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. because Prabhodananda Sarasvati gave shelter to one who was rejected by the other Goswamis. Nitai, what's the name? Nitai Chandra, his name was. And he was rejected by the Goswamis. And the Goswamis, so then Prabhodananda Saraswati had some distance with the other Goswamis at some point. Boycott, yeah. So, but Prabhodananda Saraswati, we have so much to be grateful to him for. He gave us this Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, which is so beautiful description of the kinkaris, of the maidservants of Sri Radhika. We have Raghunath Das's Vilap Kusumanjali, and we have Prabhodananda Saraswati's Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi to understand the nature and seva of the manjaris. And also he gave us this Vrindavan Mahimamrita. This is so beautiful. Many, many verses in this Vrindavan Mahimamrita. And Chaitanya Chandramrita. Yes. He gave us many, many wonderful literatures to absorb ourselves. In this Vrindavan Mahimamrita, I'm just going to read a couple of these. They're very, very beautiful. He writes, "Oh brother, when you close your eyes in death, where will your loving wife, children, brothers, relatives, friends all be? Where will your fame? Where will your fame be? Where will your pride, wealth, education, control over others, and other powers and opulences be? Where will your good qualities be at the time of death? O learned, intelligent friend, why do you not renounce these temporary things now and run to Vrindavan?" So this Vrindavan Mahimamrita is filled with these most beautiful descriptions of the Dham as being our refuge in all circumstances. He says again, where is pure devotional service? Where is detachment from the world? Where is spiritual knowledge? Where is religion? The forest of Vrindavan, which cannot be touched by the black snake of time, is the only home of these opulences. Again, he says, in all the three worlds, what men are not controlled by women? They who are not controlled are mostly those who hanker for fame. But some may be seen who are great saints, untouched by material desires, and whose company makes the material desires of others fall away. O intelligent reader, if you have had no desire to awaken the material benefits that sleep in your hand, reside peacefully in Vrindavan. Very beautiful. Then he says again, have you not heard yourself glorified again and again in many lifetimes? What varieties of sensational pleasures, beginning with the enjoyment of beautiful women, anointed with sandal and decorated with splendid garlands, have you not already enjoyed? And for many lifetimes. Now please become averse to all these sense pleasures. Now become like a bumblebee, enjoying the ultimate transcendental pleasure in the charming forest that is the place where Sri Radha enjoys her pastimes. Another one. The veena makes no sound. The flute does not play the fifth note. The cuckoos no longer warble. The gopis are silent. And Lord Hari gives us his love talk when Sri Radha sings the glories of Sri Vrindavan. Radha and Krishna worship Vrindavan, saying, Beloved, let us multiply our lives by millions of times, and with these millions of lives offer arti to Vrindavan. Let me glorify Vrindavan. So this Vrindavan Mahimamrita, there's 100 shatakas, and I think we have translated into English anyway, about 20 of them, 30 of them. And they're just filled with beautiful glorifications of Vrindavan Dham. So this is Prabhodananda Sarasvati. Huh? No. I have in my room. I forget. I didn't bring it. So these are beautiful contemplations at this particular place of Prabhodananda Sarasvati. So I'm going to conclude now. So we've discussed Kaliya and we've discussed Prabhodananda Sarasvati. So now we're just going to walk up the street a little bit and we're going to come to Sanatana Goswami's samadhi, which is at the foot of Madana-Mohana. So there's Vipin Prabhu and there's Vaikanis Maharaj also. And perhaps Vipin would like to allow Vaikanis Maharaj to say something. And if Vaikanis Maharaj would like to say anything about Sanatana Goswami Maharaj.
Can I say one funny story about Prabhodananda Sarasvati?
Yes.
Gurudev would always make the point that some people consider he to be non-different from Prakasananda Sarasvati, the personalist in Varanasi who Mahaprabhu met later.
Yeah.
And then one parikram, we were all, you know how Gurudev would speak to the different pastime places in the evening, kind of summarize them all. And he brought that up. And he said, Prakasananda Sarasvati and Prabhodananda were the same or not? You know how he would say. Who can say? And he looked over, you know, on the dais, we're all sitting up there. And I said, I know. And then I somehow or other, I spoke wrong. I misunderstood. And because he asked a question, they're the same or not? And I said, yes, as if I was agreeing that they were the same person, right? And Gurudev looked at me and he goes, oh, you're a bogus person. You don't know. And I said, wait a minute, I know. And he goes, why did you say it? I said, you made me nervous. You made me nervous. And the whole place just is laughing, right? And then he said, okay, speak. And then I was able to get it out that even before he went on tour, he spoke about Prakasananda being like, you know, his words and his teaching being like hot coals on his body, this impersonalist teaching. And then he went to South India first. And there he met Prabhodananda, who then went to Vrindavan. Then later on the way back after being to Vrindavan, that's when he met Prakasananda. So Gurudev says, how can they say that he was Prabhodananda, then he became the impersonalist Prakasananda, and then, you know, somehow or other, says it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But I just remember that in particular because it was such a funny experience where, you know, he goes, oh, you're a bogus person. You don't know. And he's laughing at me, right? And I said, wait, I do know. Why did you not say? I said, oh, you made me nervous.
Yeah.
And one other little thing, you know, about, there's so many things, but, you know, in the Garga Samhita, it talks about who the different demons were in previous lives. Have you read that?
Yes.
How Kaliya became Kaliya?
Yeah.
You know that?
Tell it.
Oh, well, he was a very pious king and in a previous life. And the king's kingdom was, they had drought for many, many, many years, 8 years or more. And the kingdom was going down. And he'd done all kinds of yagyas and everything, and nothing worked. So then he approached his ministers and the Brahmins, and they said, there's one thing you can do. Outside of the town, outside of the city, lives a great, great sadhu. And he lives inside a tree. And if you go to him and take his Charanamrita and beg his blessings, drink the Charanamrita from his feet, then beg his blessings, then he can solve this problem. So he went with his ministers and they went out to the town and they found the tree. And, you know, you've seen these big, big trees and there's a hole inside. And so he was inside there and he approached and offered prayers. And Sadhu said, what do you want? He says, I want to bathe your feet and drink the Charanamrita. My kingdom is all of this, and, you know, we have this problem. Please give me your foot. So the sage stuck his foot out the hole. and it was all filled with sores and oozing pus and blood. And the king went, "Oh,
Leprosy.
can you give the other foot instead?" So he pulled that foot out and he put the other foot, and it was even worse. It was like just dripping with pus and blood and ooze and everything in the worst way, skin falling off. But he washed his feet dutifully, Kshatriya, and collected the water in a bowl, but he couldn't bring himself to drink it. And so instead, still, he didn't want to disrespect. He took it and sprinkled it on his head. But the sage knew that he had this doubt. And he said, "Oh, you're an offender. You have the mood like a snake. You appear to be, very nice, but you're actually envious and no respect. Because you're like a snake, you have to take birth as a snake."
Hawk's
And the
tongue.
king was so distressed. And he showed genuine remorse. And this is the theme in the Garga Samhita, all these different demons, they do these offenses, but he had such remorse, Sage said, "Okay, I can't withdraw the curse, but you will be a snake, but you will go to the place of the Supreme Lord's pastimes, and he will purify you." And he will purify you. And
Josh.
so he did purify him, but why didn't he get to stay in Vrindavan? He was purified. Why didn't he get to stay in Vrindavan? Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that because you're frightful to the Brajbasis. If they see you, they become frightened, so you can't stay here. You go back to where you came from, right? And just as you said, even though the only reason he got this benediction at all was because of his wives as pure devotees. They were the ones that gave him this. So that's true for everyone. Right? And the power of a pure devotee, that even this snake-like person who had, in all effect, had killed so many people in Vrindavan, even a bird who flew over that lake would die. The cowherd boys appeared to be dead. No grass, nothing could live. And so many offenses, and yet, by the well wishes of his wives, who at first didn't want to give him that, so let him die. Who wants to be married to such a envious person? But like when you said, when he submitted and said, "Oh, he's truly powerful, maybe he is the Lord himself," then they said, "Okay, now he can be saved." And then they made their beautiful prayers, as you said. Yeah, magnificent story. You gave so many lovely, wonderful details.
One
You
more
drew so
one
many sources.
at the end.
We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm muted.
What's
Oh.
going on with? Sometimes he's stunned and he's unmoving and we don't see anything. Now we can't even hear his voice.
Why
You
do you
know
not?
What's going on?
Unmute me.
You are.
I'm unmuted. Yeah.
I can't hear anybody.
Huh? No, it wasn't.
Is it me?
No, it's me now.
Can you hear me?
No, I'm hearing
You
you.
can hear me, go like this.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, Maharaj. I'm hearing you.
All right.
Hearing you
But
completely.
I can't hear you at all. You?
Okay, what to do? What to do? I forgot what I was going to say now. I was going to say something. No. They can all hear.
You can
Everyone.
hear him? How come I can't hear him? This is bogus. Yashodhara, you have a bogus system here. I don't know what it is. You're cheating me. I don't get to hear Tridani Maharaj. I hope at least I get to hear Bipin. Can he talk? His speaker's off.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, I can.
Ow.
Okay.
I'm audible.
Okay.
Oh, man. I'm going to close and
Okay.
Am I?
Okay.
I'm going to close it and open up again.
Okay,
Maybe
Mark.
that will do it.
Vipin Prabhu will start to speak now on Sanatana Gosvami, which is just up the road from where we are now. We're all sitting at Kaliya-daha. Maharaj, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your katha. We very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to go to Madana-Mohan, and at the base of Madana-Mohan is the wonderful samadhi of Srila Sanatana Gosvami Park. And Vipin Prabhu will carry us through on all the remarkable, amazing truths. One detail, though, in connection with what we've just been speaking about, Kaliya-daha, is that when Krishna comes out of this lake, he's still cold. So there's the Dwadasa Tila, the 12 suns that are there. And that's just behind the Madana-Mohana Temple, where they manifest to warm Krishna's body after his...
Radical request.
Huh?
Radical request.
On Radhika's request. Maharaj is telling me. We can hear you, Maharaj.
No, I know what happened. I have this mic thing attached to my computer, and because I was talking and sound wasn't coming through here, it just turned itself off. And
Okay.
so we couldn't hear.
Okay.
My fault. Not Yashodhari's and not yours.
Thank
I'm the offender.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
think Maharaj should speak on Sanatana Goswami.
What? I could fill in for you. I'm like the minor co-host. I know you have so many beautiful things to say. You speak all you like, and if there's anything, we want to touch or add, I'd be happy to. There's some beautiful tattva, very beautiful stories. It's great. And I love hearing you speak.
Guru Gaura Chandraya, Shri Radhikaya Tadale, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. I've been requested to speak on Sri Sanatana Goswami. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when he is beginning glorifying Srimad Rupa Goswami and Sri Sanatana Goswami and Sri Rup Shiksha and Sri Sanatana Shiksha, he quotes a verse, Kalen Vrindavan ke livarta lupteti akhyatum vishishya. Just like at the beginning of the creation, Bhagavan, he gave knowledge to Shri Brahmaji. And by receiving knowledge from Shri Brahmaji created this whole creation. Similarly, Sriman Mahaprabhu, he did the same thing with Shri Rup and Shri Sanatan. The conversations or the most intimate pastimes of Shri Vrindavan, it all had disappeared by the passage of time. Then Sriman Mahaprabhu, he sent his commanders. He sent his own agents. And he inspired within their hearts. He met Sriman Rupa Goswami in Prayag for 10 days. He spoke about Rup Shiksha very briefly. And then Sri Rupa Goswami created this whole ocean out of it. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Shojwal Leenmani. Sriman Sanatana Goswami met Sriman Mahaprabhu in Kashi. And there Sriman Mahaprabhu spoke to him for 2 months. And there are 5 chapters of this in Madhya Leela. Sri Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj mentions something very beautifully. He says, why did Rupa Goswami, why did Sriman Mahaprabhu met Sri Rupa Goswami in Prayag? And why did he meet Sriman Sanatana Goswami only in Kashi, not anywhere else? Kashi is the hub of Mayavadis. That's where the attack is being done on Sambandh Tattva. There is a difference between living entity and Bhagavan, and Jiva and Bhagavan have an eternal relationship. So Mayavadis, they attack that relationship. He even said that these Mayavadis are abusers of to the personality, to the Supreme Personality. Why? Because if I have a relative who has a very beautiful form, and if I say that your relative or your mother or father does not have a form, he does not have hands, he does not have legs, then it is like abusing. So it's better to be an atheist and say God does not exist. But it's worse to say that he does not have a form. It's better to say I'm an atheist, I don't believe in Bhagavan, that's fine. But to be able to say he does not have a form is much more worse. So Srimad Mahaprabhu specifically chose Kashi, where, as Maharaj just mentioned about Sri Prakashananda Sarasvati, who was leading the entire mission of the Mayavadis with his 10,000 disciples. He had already placed Sri Tapan Mishra, Sri Chandrasekhar Vaidya, and Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. These three personalities were already there. So when Mahaprabhu came there, reason he spoke on Sambandh Tattva in Kashi, because the Mayavadis are trying to eliminate the relationship between the soul and Bhagavan. This is one reason he actually spoke in Kashi. Mahaprabhuji, after speaking to Sanatana Goswami for 2 months about everything, he has also, not only he has spoken about Sambandh Tattva, but some glimpses of Prayojan Tattva is also there. Sambandh and Abhideha, he spoke in great detail. But he also touched upon the Prayojan Tattva, because all the acharyas are complete. But it's just that Mahaprabhu is using them for a particular reason. Like Sri Haridas Thakur is being used to preach the glories of Harinam. Sriman Rupa Goswami is Ras Tattva. Sriman Sanatana Goswami is Sambandh Tattva. So as we all know that when Sriman Sanatana Goswami Pad came with Sriman Rupa Goswami Pad to Sri Vrindavan, Vrindavan was not like what we see now. Ek ek vriksha tale kare ek ek ratri shayan. Mahaprabhu had instructed them that you stay under one tree each night. Some people say the reason they were not staying under the same tree because they would get attached. But Srila Gurudev said that's bogus. He said they would stay under each tree because each tree is a witness of Krishna's pastimes. And when they would stay under those trees, the Leelas of Vrindavan would appear in their hearts. Sometimes they would do madhukari, they would beg from door to door, and only eat whatever is required for the body, not more than that. And Sriman Mahaprabhu, though he was staying in Jagannath Puri, was constantly thinking about Sriman Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Anyone who would come from Vrindavan to Puri, the first question Sriman Mahaprabhu would ask, how is Rup Sanatan? I send them to Vrindavan, how are they living? The affection which is there in the words of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami shows that though Sriman Rupa Goswami and Sri Sanatana Goswami did not spend a lot of time physically with Sriman Mahaprabhu as compared to Sri Govinda Sevak or Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami and others, but Mahaprabhu was constantly thinking about them, constantly asking them, how are they doing? What do they do? What do they eat? How do they survive? Then the devotees would tell, oh, they're living a life of extreme renunciation. Their renunciation is not based on some dry philosophy. They are not just some external renunciants. The happiness which they are receiving within their bhajan and the happiness which they're receiving because they're serving your mission is making them go beyond all the bodily platforms and needs. It's the happiness which is driving them, the bliss which they are feeling, because their sole purpose to go to Vrindavan is to please you, to fulfill the 4 orders which you gave, to rediscover the pastime places, to establish the deities, to write scriptures about bhakti, and also to properly establish Vaishnav Sadachar. And this is the same instruction which Sri Bhakti Siddhanta also received. Sri Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Maharaj Ji, he writes in the book called Encounter with Divinity, right at the beginning. He says that I had decided that I would not preach. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakurji, he requested me to preach, but I had this idea that the kind of preaching which I want to do, I'm not going to find many takers, because I call it spade a spade, and people probably won't like that side. So he decided he would just do his bhajan in Mayapur. So one day he was sitting in Mayapur doing his bhajan. A piece of paper which had these 4 instructions written on it. It flew into his lap. It flew into his lap and he looked at it, the same 4 instructions which was given by Sriman Mahaprabhu to Sri Rupa Goswami and to Sri Sanatana Goswami. That same piece of paper flew in his lap and he said, oh, this is the Agya of Prabhu, this is the order of Sriman Mahaprabhu. I must perform this service. Later on, we all know that how the entire Guru Parampara appeared to him and he started off this whole movement. So Mahaprabhu was very, very affectionate. He was constantly thinking about how Sri Rupa and Sanatana are actually performing bhajan. Sriman Sanatana Goswami came to Vrindavan. He was staying at Madana-Mohan Mandir. There was no Madan Mohan at that time. Madan Mohan ji was in Mathura. He was being served by one Brahmani. And this lady, she had developed rag for Krishna. So they had rag for Krishna. She would treat Krishna like her own child. Her son's name was Sadhana. So instead of giving him a proper name, she said, I will call Krishna as Madana. This deity was established by Sri Vajranabhji 5,000 years ago. And later on, the deity was discovered by Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu. So nearby Sri Madan Mohan Mandir, we also see the place of Sri Advait Vat, where this deity was discovered. And then this deity went to Mathura. And as we all know that the deity of Sri Madan Mohan, it represents the lotus feet of Krishna. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad has written a book called Stavamrit Lahari. Sriman Rupa Goswami has written Stavmala. And Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad, who is non-different from Sriman Rupa Goswami, he came again, and some of the things which Sri Rupa Goswami, he did not write, like all the Ashtakam, Sri Govindev Ashtakam, Sri Madan Gopal Ashtakam, Sri Gokulanand Vijay Govind Ashtakam, Sri Gopinath Ashtakam. So all these various Ashtakams, and they are so amazingly written by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad that it immediately brings the beautiful form of Sri Madan Mohan right in front of one's eyes. So I'll just touch upon one of the verses of his. He says, Mridutul Arunya Jitaruchir Jarpadam Kulish Kanjari Kalash Jashinnitam Ridi Mam Adhaya Charna Sarsiruham Madan Gopal Nija Sadanam Anurakshama. Hey Madan Gopal, you please give me shelter at your lotus feet. Without approaching your lotus feet, without having some mandagyan, how would I be able to progress? Because relationship has abhidhe and prayojan included in it. That's why Rag Bhakti actually starts at the stage of Asakti. Before Asakti, Rag Bhakti, some glimpses are there, but real Rag Bhakti starts at the stage of Asakti because some sfurti of one's eternal nature comes in the heart. At the stage of Ruchi and Asakti, one starts feeling attraction towards Krishna in a particular way. Like in a general way, I can hear all the pastimes of all the avatars of Bhagavan. From the first canto till the 12th canto, everything is pleasing to me. But when it comes to the stage of Ruchi or Asakti, what happens is that a sadhak becomes inclined towards a particular pastime of Krishna, which kind of gives an idea of their swarup. Though they appreciate everything, but some idea of their swarup one gets to know in these higher stages. So Sambandha Gyan is extremely important. Sriman Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad is saying, hey Sri Madan Gopal, Nij Sadanam, you please provide shelter at your lotus feet to me all the time. Your feet are Mridutal Arunya. It has a wonderful color of the sky when sun is about to shine. There is some redness on your feet, and that redness represent the when the sun is about to shine. That's one way to look at it, but the other way is that probably your lotus feet are being touched by the kumkum of the gopis. That is more appropriate from the perspective of rasic devotees. And there is the corner of your eyes also has redness. This redness which is there in the corner of your eyes, see, if you go to Sri Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan, the deities which was established by Srila Prabhupada, the deity of Krishna in Krishna Balram Mandir has redness. There is some redness in the eyes of Krishna. So that redness represents the anurag which Krishna has for Shri Radhika. So hey Madan Gopal, your feet represents the kumkum which has come from the bodies of Shri Radhika. The redness from your eyes represents the anurag which you have for Shri Radhika. Your feet are decorated with various footprints, the 19 footprints. And these were the footprints which the Brajvasis would very clearly recognize. When they are running towards Kaliya-daha, they heard that Krishna is wrapped in the coils of Kaliya. All the personalities ran towards saving him. There is one group of gopis headed by Mother Yashoda. There is one group of gopas headed by Shinanda Maharaj. No matter whatever anyone was doing, they left everything. Only two personalities could not go. The trees, because they are stationed, they cannot run. So they were saying, fire on us that we cannot go to save him. Why is it that we are being given the body of a tree? We know that our prananath, because Krishna is life and soul of every living entity in Braj. Every living entity, every personality, life and soul is Krishna. Everyone is running to save Krishna, because if the life remains in the body, then there's use of the body. But what unfortunate souls we are that we have been given this body of a tree, because in Vrindavan everything is conscious. If we had the body, if we had the legs, if we would run towards him. The second personality who actually could not run to save Krishna, these were the houses made by Brajvasis. The houses were thinking, oh, wish we also had the legs. Shriman Kavi Karnapur is writing all these things in Sri Anand Vrindavan Champu. Amazing things which cannot be spoken in a brief time. So these Brajvasis were looking at the footprints. There were millions and millions of calves and sakhas. But Brajvasis were able to identify Krishna's footprint very, very clearly, because this is what they meditate upon all throughout the day. They only think about his lotus feet all the time. So they were not finding it any difficulty while they were going through in the forest, marked with so many footprints of calves, marked with so many footprints of sakhas, marked with footprints of so many other species or animals. But they were able to exactly pinpoint, focus on those footprints. So it's the footprints that led one to Krishna. Similarly, the footprints which is being left by our acharyas will lead us to Krishna Bhakti. Our acharyas have also left these footprints. They have done bhajan. So they giving us the idea. So Madan Gopal feet is being decorated by those footprints. The footprints which has conch shell, which represents victory. The footprints which represents fish. Fish is never stable anywhere, always moving, never sleeps. But fish seems to be resting on Krishna's lotus feet. Srimad Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad says, if anyone remembers the marking of fish on the feet of Krishna, then one would be able to tame or control their restless mind. So these many things are mentioned. So hey Madan Gopal, may your feet, lotus feet, appear in my heart all the time. That is my desire. That is one little description of Sri Madan Mohan. So Sriman Sanatana Gosvami Pad, he would do parikrama, Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan every day. Arrived in Mathura, interestingly what he saw, Mataji, who was cooking khichdi for Madan Gopal, she was using this brush, an Indian style brush, taken from a tree. So she was using it as a spoon. So she was cleaning her teeth from one side, and then she was using the other side to prepare khichdi for Krishna. And Sanatana Goswami was utterly astonished. Someone who has written Hari Bhakti Vilas, we cannot imagine his astonishment. Hari Bhakti Vilas is a Smriti Granth for us. Just like Karma Kand, people have their ways of puja and worship. Hari Bhakti Vilas is a Vaishnav Smriti Shastra. So he was like, oh, Bhagavan should be offered bhoga after applying tilak on one's body. But here, what am I seeing? There is no rules and regulations. What she's doing, she's taking this piece of tree and she's using as a toothbrush and then also using it as a spoon to prepare khichdi. She said, Mataji, this is not you should prepare for Thakurji. Thakurji is always, you should offer bhog with proper mantras. Properly bathe, apply tilak. She was like, okay, simple Brajvasi, no problem. Next day, it was taking time for her to offer bhog. At that time, Krishna was like, Maya, where is my khichdi? He said, oh, it will take time. Some Baba came yesterday and he said that we should follow proper rules and regulations. Krishna said, those rules and regulations are for those who have not developed rag. Those who have developed rag for me, you are true Brajvasi. You don't have to follow all these things. But Sanatana Goswami Pad was astonished when Madan Mohan started walking behind him. My battery is about to die, so my wife Yashoda, she needs to come down from upstairs to down because the battery is about to die. She's up on the upper floor. So Shriman,
Battery. Oh, the battery. Oh.
yeah, the battery is about to die. It's only 1%. So she's up and I don't have a charger. My phone's battery is 1% left only. But battery nahi hai isme. Maybe Maharaj ji can take over.
I thought somebody in the house was about to die. My wife is gonna come.
No.
I'm coming.
Yeah, maybe Maharaj ji can continue because he's just about to, Maharaj ji can speak off from this point.
All right, well, then the story, we always hear different versions of the story. And the way that Gurudev, that we've heard is that these deities, as you mentioned, were brought from Vrindavan by Advaitacharya and given to this family. Before Mahaprabhu had appeared, Advaitacharya had gone to Vrindavan and had discovered this beautiful deity, and then on his way back to Shantipur had established it there. And Sanatana Goswami used to do parikram around all of Govardhan. He would do all of Vrindavan. He would go to Mathura and do Madhukari. Sometimes he would do all three in the same day. And then one time he was going through Mathura. And as you said, this lady was there and she was cooking. And he saw two boys in the courtyard of that house. And they were playing together. And they're playing this stick game. I can't remember the name of it, but maybe you've seen when you've been in India with the young boys, they have a stick that's thick in the middle and then it goes and it's narrow, and they have another stick and they whack it and the stick goes up in the air and then they hit it, and then whoever hits it further wins, right? What is it?
Guli Danda.
Guli Dana. Okay. So, they'll do that. Boys, they can be occupied like that for hours. Boys are so simple. Anyway, so they're playing, but Sanatana is very entranced by these two. And one boy in particular, beautiful, darkish complexion and very charming gait, glances, and he's looking at Sanatana Goswami. Anyway, they were playing the game, and this darkish boy won the first game. So the other boy had to take him on his shoulders and carry him around like a horse, right? We hear this theme repeated a lot. And then they played again, and the other boy, who was the daughter of this, or the son of this lady, he won. And he said, now you have to carry me. And that beautiful blackish complexion boy said, no, I won't. I won't carry you. And he starts running around the courtyard. And the other boy's chasing him. Yes, you must. I won. And the other boy right next door was a small little temple, little mandir. And the boy ran into that temple. And Sanatana Goswami is looking, and he sees him run in, and the other boy goes to chase him, but the pujari there won't let him in. And the boy runs into the temple, and he stands up on the altar, and he takes the threefold bending form, and he becomes the deity. And Sanatana Goswami is astonished. What kind of family is this, right? And so he thought, I'm going to come back the next day. He comes back the next day. And then he sees, this is when he sees the mother cooking the khichdi. And like Vipin said, she's got a stick, and one hand it's all rough, and she's cleaning her teeth. And then the other hand, she's stirring the khichdi with, on the other side like that. And he's aghast. It's so unclean. Now he knows this boy is Krishna himself. And so she's cooking khichdi for Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, with that stick that she's brushing her teeth with. She hasn't bathed. She doesn't have tilak. And that's when he corrects her. Oh, mother, this is incorrect. He's very polite, very diplomatic. And she's very soft-hearted, as Vipin Prabhu said, simple Brajbasi, Shuddha Brajbasi. And so she accepts his instruction and says, from now on, I'll do as you say. I'll bathe, I'll put on tilak, and I'll use proper utensils. Next day, when Sanatana Goswami comes, the boys are there. She's getting near, she's trying to get the pot ready to cook. Now she's got the clean cloth, she's got tilak, but she hasn't done any cooking. And the boys are, Mother, we're so hungry. Why do you always make khichdi by this time? Why have you delayed? Why are you wait? And she says, oh, I'm sorry, I had to bathe, I had to put on tilak, I had to get proper utensils, I had to clean the pots. No, you should come, we're hungry now, we're hungry now. And then Sanatana Goswami told her, Vipin Prabhu has heard a story where Krishna told her, but the way we also heard it, and these stories take many forms. It's not like one's right, one's wrong. There's just infinite variety. Sanatana Goswami said, oh, mother, you don't have to follow these regulations. He understood that she was of such pure nature that Krishna was accepting her service, completely disregarding any idea of cleanliness or not, because her heart and her love and her son were completely pure. So then Sanatana Goswami goes, and then he says, as he's leaving, Madan-Mohan comes up to him and says, hey, originally he was named Madan Gopal. Originally the name of the deity was Madan Gopal, because he doesn't have Radharani with him yet. Radharani comes later, so he's Madan Gopal. And he says, I want to go with you to Vrindavan. Now here we get another look at the kind of devotion that these high-class devotees have. Sanatana Goswami says, no. He says, what do you mean, no? He says, I can't take care of you. I'm a sadhu. You're a Krishna. You have to be in a temple. You have to be fed. I don't have any of these things. I just do a little madhukari. I eat dough balls every day. Doesn't matter. I'll just want to be with you. Whatever you eat, I will take. And Sanatana Goswami says, well, you have independent will, but don't think I'm going to carry you to Vrindavan. You have to get there yourself. Deity is very heavy. And so he said, okay, no problem. I'll walk behind you. Just don't look behind. Don't look behind. And when you get to your place, then you can turn around. So Sanatana Goswami's walking, and he hears the jingling of ankle bells behind him. So he knows, oh, Madan Gopal is following me. So he's very happy. And they get to that hill where the temple is now. And then Sanatana Goswami thinks, oh, we've arrived. And then he turns around. He sees the beautiful boy, Madan Gopal. He gives him a lustrous, gorgeous, loving smile. And then he turns into the deity, takes that form again. And Sanatana Goswami takes two simple stones and a board, and he puts them on top of that under a tree. And that's how he's worshiping, very simply, right? And then one day the deity comes to him. And Srila Prabhupada tells this story also. When Srila Prabhupada tells it, it's so sweet. He says, deity comes, oh, every day, all you offer me is these hard dough balls. Because what he would do, he'd bake a little flour, a little atta, mix it with water, put it next to the fire, and it would bake. No rising agent, no nothing, just rock hard balls that you would just have to soak in water or soak in your mouth. If you go to that temple, one of the things they do is they'll give you dough ball prasad. Anyone who's been there. And it's actually so wonderful to take it because you remember this pastime. But they are very difficult to eat. And so Krishna comes to him and says, hey, every day you just give me these dough balls. How can I eat these? And he said, Sanatana Goswami says, well, I told you. This is all I have. I just beg a little Madhukar. This is all I'm capable of. And he says, can't you offer at least a little salt to make it palatable? He says, again, I have nothing. If you want salt, if you want anything else, you have to arrange yourself. Very soon after that, a very wealthy merchant is coming down the Jamuna. And the Jamuna is right across from that temple. And those times was even closer. And he has these boats laden with very expensive goods he's going to take down to Agra and sell. And his boats get stuck on the sandbar. And no matter what he does, hiring people, horses, elephants, he can't get the boats off the sandbar. And the local people say, well, up on that hill, there's a great sadhu. He can do anything. Maybe he can help you. So he goes up the hill and he sees Sanatana Goswami. And then he sees the deity of Madan Gopal. And he's so moved, purified in the association of Sanatana Goswami, right, in Vrindavan. And he's a pious man. And he sees that deity on this little slab under a tree, and he thinks, oh, a deity like this, so beautiful, he should be worshipped wonderfully. Right? He should have a temple. He should have wonderful food, not these dough balls. All these things are coming into his heart. He's inspired, and he says, if I could just get my boats off this sandbar, I could make so much money, and I'll come back and I'll build a temple, right? And see the deities worshipped nicely. And then very quickly after that, somehow or other, the water rises, the boats come off. He's so happy. He knows this is the desire of the Lord. He runs down now with a mission. He goes to Agra, makes a huge profit, comes back and builds this beautiful temple. We don't see the whole temple now. One temple is very similar to what it was when he built it. The rest has been partially dismantled by Aurangzeb. And Aurangzeb was going to try to dismantle all of it, but some emergency came up in Delhi or Agra, wherever it was at the time, and he had to leave. But anyway, so he built the temple, and what Sanatana Goswami had said, you should arrange yourself. Krishna arranged, but how did he arrange? He inspired in the heart of the devotee to do this seva. And that's the thing about being in Vrindavan, even to this day. We can go to these places, remember these pastimes, and pray that that kind of inspiration for some service that Krishna wants come into our heart. And Krishna doesn't need anything. He can do anything himself, right? He built Dwarka overnight. With Sudama Brahmana, by his own wish, he created a beautiful palace for him immediately, right? Just to satisfy and please his devotee, who didn't ask for anything. Krishna doesn't need us. We think, oh, if I had this and that, I could do this for Krishna. Oh, if only I was rich. Please, Krishna, make me rich, and then I'll give you some seva. No, he doesn't need our seva at all. What he wants is our love. And so he had the love of Sanatana Goswami. That's what he wanted to go to Vrindavan for. And he wanted to go back to his place. And he inspired this very pious merchant. And then after some time in the temple, Maharaj Purushottam Jana, the son of Prataparudra, was inspired in a dream, two deities of Radhika, or two deities, and to be sent to Vrindavan. and they came to him and said, one is Radha and one is Lalita. And Madana-Mohan said, the Radha deity, the Lalita deity is the taller one, she should be on my right, and Radhika, the smaller one, should be on my left. So Krishna can't be in Vrindavan without Radha. So he inspired in the heart of another devotee to do that seva as well. So the whole parikrama is meant to infuse us with these lovely, lovely pastimes, but even more to be infused with the desire, oh, I want to be like them. I want to be in the association of these kinds of devotees. I want to serve like them. As Vipin Prabhu had said, that if we can come to the stage of asakti, then we awaken attachment for particular moods of service and the association and guidance of particular kinds of devotees. This is what happened to Brajanath and Vijay Kumar. At this point, that all of a sudden, a particular inclination arose in their heart. And going to these pastime places is so important for that. So we've been very fortunate today. We've heard so much from Chaitanya Maharaj, all those beautiful details. Vipin, what a philosopher and scholar. So many beautiful things that we'd never heard before. I'd never heard. You probably have. I'm so appreciative and honored. We're supposed to
Maharaj?
stop at 9, right?
Yeah, Maharaj, I have one request. Do you
Oh.
think you can quickly speak?
What's
Can you
that?
hear me? Do you think you can quickly speak about the Ashtasakhi Mandir?
Oh, you know
That's the other
what?
one.
Never really become accomplished in that.
Okay.
I remember going there when it was much smaller and simpler when I first went, but then the next time when I started coming back, they made this big, giant, fancy place, and I never really got to hear the guitar very much on that.
Oh, actually, I think Bipin Prabhu's back also, Maharaj. Let's see if
Yeah,
he's available.
let him. He's the, you know.
Let's see if his battery is charged.
Oh,
Otherwise, I have to run downstairs
charge
again.
for a few minutes.
Now you can charge our batteries, our spiritual batteries.
Okay, so I followed you that you spoke about the entire Madana-Mohan Leela, right?
Well, there's more, but you know, yeah. But we want to hear about Ashtasakhi now. Ashtasakis.
Okay. So very briefly, I'll mention about these 8 principal Sakhis. In Sri Ujjwal Mani, Sriman Rupa Goswami ji is giving an exact definition of a Sakhi. Generally, when we say a Sakhi, the common conception comes like a female girl with fanning or doing some services or going around with Sri Radhika. But there are 360 types of Sakhis mentioned in Sri Ujjwal Mani. And we don't have time for that for sure. But just a definition of what Rupa Goswami is saying, Rupa Goswami is a spiritual scientist. I become utterly astonished when I study his books and I realize that how can you actually define this? And this was a drop which was given by Sriman Mahaprabhu. So if a drop is this much, what would be the ocean? The drop itself is an ocean in itself. He gives definition, Prem Leela Viharanam Samyak Vistarita Sakhi Vishambratna Peti Tatha Sushtu Vichitkate. 3 qualities of a Sakhi is mentioned. Prem, Leela, and Vihar means when Sri Radha and Krishna want to be together or are together. 3 things. The duty of a Sakhi or the symptom of a Sakhi, he mentions, I'll mention that also in sequence. There's 17 activities of theirs, 17 services specifically mentioned by Srimad Rupa Goswami. He says that what Sakhis do, they expand Sri Radhika's prem. Shri Gurudev was mentioning in one of his lectures recently that many people think that Sri Radhika's name is not in the Vedas. But there is an Upanishad called Sri Radha Upanishad, which is not easily available, but Gurudev quoted many verses. And in one verse it is mentioned that tasya cha kaya vyu swarupa gopya shri shaiti mahishi, that the first expansion of Shri Radhika is these 8 principal sakhis. And there is so much of variegated moods of theirs, but the principal activity of all these sakhis is to expand Shri Radhika's prem. That's one principal activity which is common amongst all of them. The second activity of Shri Radhika sakhis is to nourish the leelas with Shri Radhika. And third is either to make them meet or not to make them meet also. Sometimes. You know who I'm talking about, right? There is one Sakhi who we follow, Srila Sakhi. So she feels pleasure that Radha and Krishna meet, but sometimes, or in fact, many a time, she says not to let him come in also. So she is that type of Sakhi. But and then the other quality of Sakhi which mentioned by Rupa Goswami is, he's saying that Vishram Ratna Peti means Shri Radhika has so much of faith in them that it looks like that she has surrendered herself unto their hands. One example I give. Shri Lalita Sakhi. One time, Shri Lalita Sakhi came to Shri Radhika. Rupa Goswami is mentioning this. He said, I'm telling you not to be submissive. Radhika says, yeah, okay. No, listen to me very carefully, not to be submissive. And Radhika raised her eyebrows just a bit in anger to Lalita Sakhi. She raised her eyebrow that why do you always want to be me to be in man? No, Lalita Sakhi says, no, you don't understand him. He's very, very clever. He's very clever. Radhika says, no. Radhika did not say anything, but she was like, let her say whatever she wants. I am going to become submissive to Krishna today. Radhika becomes submissive. Krishna does not arrive on time as always. And then Srimati Radhika waiting for Krishna all night, and then she was crying. Lalita Sakhi comes to Sri Radhika, says, when I was telling you not to be submissive, you were raising your eyebrows and you were telling me, and you were showing some sort of anger towards me. Now you are crying. Some people deserve to cry like you. So you should cry to be able to understand. This is the control which she has on her. It is the whole spiritual world is so dynamic. It is so astonishing. Srimad Prabhodananda Sarasvati writes in Sri Radha Rasanidhi, Tan Pratishana Chamatkrita Charu Leela, that every step there is astonishment in Vrindavan. Something which cannot be even thought by the Vedas, which cannot be even understood by anyone. Sri Shivji and Sri Brahmaji and others cannot understand. Such leelas are happening in Vrindavan. So Radhika has so much of faith in them that she reveals everything to them. That is Sakhi. I'll just quickly go through the 17 seva, 17 activities which Sakhis they perform, and then I'll end. Very beautifully mentioned by Srimad Rupa Goswami Pad. Rupa Goswami says that one of the services of the Sakhis is that they sing the glories of Shri Radhika to Krishna, and they sing the glories of Krishna to Shri Radhika. They sing it very loudly. They sing. That's one service of theirs. Second quality of hers is that they keep on doing many things so that the attachment between Shri Radhika and Shri Krishna, it increases all the time. Third is to make them meet. And Srimad Rupa Goswami is saying that in his literature called Karpanya Panjika, or maybe in Chatu Pushpanjali, that my reward, what is my reward? He said, Gave Shantara Kada Vrindavano, when Sri Krishna is searching for Sri Radhika and Sri Radhika is searching for Krishna in Braj. And somehow when I make them meet together, Shri Radhika becomes so happy that she takes off her necklace and gives it to me. When will that day come? And we further say, Srimad Rupa Goswami is saying that in Vrindavan is being decorated by the footprints of Shri Radhika and Krishna. My happiness is when I see that the footprints of Shri Radhika meets with Krishna. That is my happiness. That is the source of my happiness. So third is the Sakhis, they make Shri Krishna and Shri Radhika meet together. The fourth is that they bring Krishna closer to Shri Radhika. Fifth is they do a lot of joking pastimes. Like Shri Lalita Sakhi one time asks Shri Radhika, Krishna. He says, "Hey Krishna, tell me one thing. Are you the teacher or you are taking your lessons from the flute? Is your flute your teacher or you are taking lessons from the flute?" Krishna is confused. He said, "Why are you asking this?" He said, "Because both you and your flute, they make the gopis run from their houses. So both of you act in a similar manner." The sixth activity of a Sakhi is that they always give assurance that Krishna or Radhika is going to come together. Like if Krishna is in distress or meeting or in separation, Sri Rupanjari or others would pacify Krishna or Shri Radhika that Krishna would come soon, don't worry. They also decorate them. Seventh service of theirs. Eighth is that they are able to express their moods very, very expertly in front of Shri Radhika. And then the ninth is very extremely important, that if they find that there is any fault in Shri Radhika, all the Sakhis are expert in hiding it. 10th is how to deceive the in-laws, right? 11th is give shiksha to both Krishna and Shri Radhika. Like sometimes Shri Rupmanjari, as I just mentioned, Lalita Sakhi says, one time what happened was that Krishna, he made Shri Radhika wait all night. And Shri Lalita Sakhi saw Krishna coming towards the Kunja. And Shri Lalita Sakhi says, "Don't dare to enter in our Kunja. If you think that you will be able to pacify her today, you just understand that I am standing here, right? Don't dare to come inside. You can pacify others, but not me. You can pacify other gopis, Swapaksha and others, but not Shri Radhika. I will not let you come in." So that's how she controls, and she gives instruction to both Shri Radha and Krishna. Then make them meet at an appropriate time. When Krishna is with Chandravali at times, sometimes Shri Lalita Sakhi sends Rupmanjari and say, "Go tell Krishna that a great demon has come." Rupmanjari enters in the Kunj and says, "Hey Krishna, a great demon has come." Krishna says, "Which demon?" He said, "The demon of man. The demon of separation has come. You will not be able to kill him, so you must leave as soon as possible." So in this way, what they do, they're very expert in speaking this coded language and bring Krishna out of the Kunj of Chandravali and make him meet with Shri Radhika. Doing Chamar Seva, we all know. And then when she sees any fault in any one of them, any mistake, gives instruction. The 15th one is that if it's needed, the Sakhis also chastise them. So these activities are not performed by all of them, but some perform these activities dedicatedly and others don't. To send messages between each other, from Krishna's message to Radhika and Radhika's to Krishna. And when Srimati Radhika is feeling extreme separation, like in Hans Doot we see, that Sri Lalita Sakhi, who doesn't allow Krishna to come in the Kunja, she herself is pleading to a swan to go to Mathura and please take this message across to Krishna as soon as possible, because Radhika would not be able to hold on to her life affairs anymore. The Sakhis in separation are constantly seeing the throat of Sri Radhika if there is any vibration left in that. So when they see that the throat is still moving, they feel extremely, extremely happy that Sri Radhika is still in her body. So these are the 17 activities of seva which Srimad Rupa Goswami is mentioning in Sri Ujjwal Neel Mani. So those who have the copy, they can, go through it to be able to understand that how Srimad Rupa Goswami has brought the entire spiritual world here and has preserved in these books. Because without these literature, the understanding of Vrindavan would be on a very, very, shallow level. And sometimes even the group of Vama Prakhara, out of these 360, one of the group is Vamya Bhav, that these Sakhis who are expert at Man, sometimes they go to those Sakhis who have Dakshin Bhav, submissive Bhav. They go and tell them, hey Sakhi, you don't know how to do Man. And without Man, Krishna will not be pleased. So they are training them, even the opposite party sometimes, to do Man, because Man is extremely, extremely pleasing to Krishna. So there are many things like Lalita Sakhi's service is that she offers tambul, betel nut. Sri Rangadevi's special service is that she is expert at singing various types of rag. Sri Chitra Sakhi service is that she is expert at doing chamar. Sri Champaklata's service is very expert, is to maintain the gardens and the forest. Sri Tungvidya Sakhi, which we heard today, Srimad Prabhodananda Sarasvati, his is to play various types of musical instruments. And all this description is also given in our scriptures. This is, I thought of, sharing briefly with, all of you. All this is there in the books of Srimad Rupa Goswami. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vipin Prabhu, for spending time. I wonder if Vekanas Maharaj or Tridandi Maharaj want to say something or add something. Because I'm always grateful. But it's the impact doesn't come the same when I'm your wife and someone else can send more appreciation. So I wonder if Vekanas Maharaj or Tridandi Maharaj wanted to add.
Tridandi there? Well, the only thing I would say is that we can study and understand this in different ways. That was obviously an introduction to what he has explained as this incredibly detailed tattva about the nature, identity, relationships, service of all of these different personalities, and how extraordinary that these details have been revealed to us without qualification, that this is being passed down by this was Mahaprabhu's intention. But it shows there's a parallel, because we understand that in our bhakti, the sadhana and the sadhya are intimately related. What we're practicing in sadhya now is also what's being practiced in the perfected state, minus a few things perhaps. But the thing that we get in these pastimes and the leelas, and particularly in the association and groups of Radhika and all these different Sakhis, is the, what would you say, the interdependency among the different devotees for performing service. You can do your activity independently or dependently, right? Independently means, swatantra, you'll never get anywhere that way. You can do it dependently, which is actually a kind of, like the baby kitten carried around by the mother, always has to be moved from one place to the other by the agency of the mother. But interdependently means that you are working cooperatively, and the collective energies actually enhances the beauty and the quality of the service. And we're learning that in our bhakti, even though we live in a world of independence. This is the nature of false ego. We always want to be independent and the controller. The nature of being Shakti is that we thrive in interdependence, in working in groups, in working collectively, right? See, that's why when Peen Prabhu was alluding to the different kinds of groups, there's Radhika's groups, her Paksha, there's the Vipaksha of Chandravali, and the Tatashta and the Suhrit. And all of those groups are serving in the Leela, cooperating together in a very beautiful way to enhance and expand the love. And so in our own practice, we have to seriously try to develop that appreciation for working with others, right? So many times we fall victim to the mentality of the Kanishta, which is that, oh, well, me and my group and my leader or my guru, we're doing bhakti. Everybody else, they don't have quite understood it. I can't appreciate them. Or even within our own immediate sangha, there's some people we like, some people we don't. And then we fall into that constant mentality of criticism, right? Which degrades our bhakti, degrades our consciousness, and which afflicts us with the tendency to commit aparad, for no reason. So here, he was saying how Radhika has this mentality of even becoming submissive to her own sakis, her own servants. This is the highest expression. This is the whole secret that happened during the Rasa Leela, when everyone was looking for Radha and Krishna, and when they came closer and closer, Radhika was trying to delay so that her sakis could come and be with Krishna as well. And Krishna was thinking, oh no, maybe they should not be here, because if they do and see Radha and me together, then they may become jealous, right? But so Radhika is completely expansive, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ramananda Roy explains that she gets more pleasure arranging for her sakis to be with Krishna than she does directly herself. It's astonishing, that selflessness and cooperative mood. And so when he's talking about all these different gopis and their very specialities of service and their moods and how they enhance the pastime, I'm just thinking, oh, this is so wonderful, because it's trying to elevate us by hearing these things, not just to the activities that they perform, but to the moods that they have in performing them. It's not just the activity, it's also the mood, and he conveys those so nicely. I'm so grateful that you've dragged him into this, and forcing, because he's a humble person, he's Vaishnav. Oh, you speak. I don't have anything to say, but he has so many wonderful things to say. I feel very blessed. So thank you, Vipin Prabhu. Thank you, Yashodhari. Thank all the devotees, Chidandi Maharaj. This is a wonderful thing that we're going to do for the next month. I'm greatly appreciative of all of this.
Thank you, Maharaj. You encapsulated, like, again, maybe I should make you an MC, Maharaj, as well. But you've encapsulated it perfectly. And we're very, very fortunate to have the association of various Vaishnavas, and also hearing the various, like, because bhakti is not just one way, it's fluid, it's different for everyone. And Gurudev would say particularly that, don't be secular, be inclusive of everyone, because everyone has different moods, but it's all combined together. And in that dham, it's very, very much the case that even the opposite parties at some point are meeting together to convey each other's pain when Krishna leaves to go Mathura. So thank you, Maharaj, for concluding that beautifully. I don't know if Tridandi Maharaj wants to say anything.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that sectarianism is the greatest enemy of truth. So this in principle is what Maharaj was alluding to. So very beautiful. I also want to thank Bipin Prabhu for his presentation. Very concise, very illuminating. And I want to thank Vaikanas Maharaj also for his participation. I just feel grateful to be here. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. I think you should make Vaikanas Maharaj an MC. Definitely. I agree with that.
He's really good, isn't he?
I know. He's first
He's
class.
really,
He's
really
first
good.
class.
I'm
He's
the
done it
MC
before.
at Badger, at the
Are
Badger Fest.
you?
He's
I'm
done
the
it a
MC
million
for
times.
that.
He knows the back to front. He should be on. He is on. Every
Yeah,
day.
he's a part. Marge,
I think you're doing a
now-
marvelous job. I think you're doing a marvelous job, Yoshidari. I
Yeah,
think
but
you're
you're
perfect.
better, right?
No.
I was thinking last night how this Zoom is actually, it's reminiscent of when our dear Yasoda was actually doing this, 15 years ago. And it is definitely bringing our Sangha more in contact with each other. Basically,
Yeah.
we don't have this connection across the different boundaries of groups or individuals, wherever they are staying. And somehow or other, this is coming together with the same mood and present, because we're just presenting Gurudev's parikrama. Whatever Gurudev is saying from his parikrama, that's what we're endeavoring to present. So I'm really enlivened. I was thinking that I'm back in the Sangha again. So I'm very happy.
We have to try and keep this going after Kartik as well, Marge. That's the aim. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that. Also, I just want to mention tomorrow we are going on our second technical day of parikrama. Sripad Bhaktivedanta Chaitanya Maharaj, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Sutvaiti Maharaj, and Sripad Bhaktivedanta Siddhanti Maharaj will all be taking us to these wonderful places, Sri Govindev, Gopeshwar Mahadev, Dhir Samir, Vamsivat, and Brahmakund. So we're really, really fortunate tomorrow also to be going to these wonderful places of Vrindavan and actually hearing these places. I was just thinking today, Maharaj, that though I've physically gone, I'm getting so much nectar from doing this seva also and being able to hold the understanding that I'm in Braj. Sometimes you just come Braj and you're in a rush and you don't get the opportunity to sit and actually understand that I'm that fortunate right now to be in Vrindavan and go and visit these places. And then I hear the pastime places and I'm like, wow. So even more amazing. So tomorrow we will go and visit all of those places. So looking forward. Please, devotees, if there are people in your groups that don't have access to the links, etc., please do share that with them so that they can also access this Harikatha. You can also watch it live, re-watch it back on the Bhakti Zoom YouTube page. So these things are all available to the devotees that are able to watch it later. So we're going to close Kirtan with Ananta Prabhu, who is in Govardhan at the moment, and then we'll close the program. Hari Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranams.
Yeah. I have to apologize. We have to do our own Guru Puja. This is later for us than we normally go. So we're doing our Guru
So,
Puja.
Mark.
Oh, Shri Radha Raman. This is Seva Kunja, right? With Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev on each side, giving us entrance into the gateway to the Kunja. All right. Thank you all.
Jai
Again,
Maharaj.
Beautiful, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Wonderful. Thank you, Bipin Prabhu. Thank you, Bipin Prabhu. Thank you, Yashodhari. Thank you, Yashodhari.
Hari Bol, Maharaj.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Anant, you can start.
Okay. Dandavat pranams. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. Yeah, it was lovely to listen to the lectures, and I'm really also appreciating being here in this association. So, as an offering, Yashodhari Didi asked me if I'd like to sing something. So I thought I would do Haribol or Madana-Mohana Temple. Hari
front, maybe without the mridanga, because we can't hear your voice.
Oh, okay. All right. Jabogo Brajendra Pura Habogo Pikarnupura Tadera Charaner Madhu Tadera Charaner Madhu Pajibogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Vipine Vinoda Khela Sange Tera Kaler Mela Vipine Vinoda Khela Sange Tera Kaler Mela Tadera Charane Dhula Tadera Charane Dhula Makhi Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Radha Krishna Rupa Madhuri Hari Bodunayan Bhori Radha Krishna Rupa Madhuri Hari Bodunayan Bhori Nikunjera Dari Dari Nikunjera Dari Dari Rahi Bogo Nikunjera Dari Dari Rahi Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Tomar Saba Brajavasi Pura Mane Abhilashi Tomra Saba Brajavasi Pura Mane Abhilashi Kabe Shri Krishna Vanshi Kabe Shri Krishna Vanshi Shoni Bogo Kabe Shri Krishna Vanshi Shoni Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Ede Hayanti Ma Kale Rakhibo Shri Jamunar Kale Dehayanti Ma Kale Rakhibo Shri Jamunar Jale Jai Radha Govinda Bole Jai Radha Govinda Bole Bhasi Bogo Jai Radha Govinda Bole Bhasi Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Kahe Narottama Das Napuri Loya Bhilash Kahe Narottama Das Napuri Loya Bhilash Kabe Hama Brajavas Kabe Hama Brajavas Kari Bogo Kabe Hama Brajavas Kari Bogo Hari Bol Yar Madan-Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bol
Thank you so much, Ananda Prabhu. Thank you for beautiful kirtan. Hari Hari Bol. Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. We will see you all tomorrow. Please do share and